Good morning. This is my first episode of Morning Coffee here on YouTube. Um, Good morning. How y'all doing? Hakuna Matata. Good morning. Hope everybody is enjoying their morning. So I'd like to talk about a little bit about kind of things that um, happened here where I'm at. I'm coming to you live from Minnesota. You see my little Bubba in the basket? Bubba, come here, Bubba. Come here. He's playing a little kitty in the basket. That's my Bubba Adam. Um, Bring a little light to my life, as well as you'll see him as I come to you every morning. Hopefully, on the weekends. It's Monday morning. I'm off today, so I'm gonna come to you today. Um, we had a shooter. Most say, uh, politically motivated. Um, I try not to get political, but as I said in my first episode of Morning Coffee on Substack, I'm trying to get this podcast up and going. I'm not getting any views on there, so I brought it to you guys on YouTube. Um, you know, this tension has been smoldering since the Ukraine issue. Ukraine has been bullied and brought down, the underdog in many situations. Uh, my opinion, it reminds me of Rocky, doing whatever he can on job two, and then picked like a name out of a hat and put on a good show, but ended up everybody getting behind him because he was the underdog. He was picked to lose, and uh, you know, um, so when he trains and he's raw and he's doing things, very little money, getting by, trying to live his dream, just trying to get by like most of us today. Um, it's crazy that, you know, tax prices are going up, gas prices, the price of eggs are $6 to $10 or whatever it may be. Milk is $5 a gallon. When you're barely scraping by just for the necessities. It's insane that you have to work just to barely get by. And you see chaos ensue so close to home. Um, Not just with the protest. Um, it's happening where I work. The worries and issues with ICE and things like that. Uh, crazy. And so I come to you with this stream or podcast, whatever you want to call it, morning coffee. Again, Akuna Matata, no worries. You always have a friend in me. Uh, so what I want to do is one, happy belated Father's Day to the stepfathers, foster dads, fathers who aren't with us, grandfathers, mothers pulling double duty, sisters taking care of you, brothers pulling both, uncles. Um, I am blessed with my uncle, and I am blessed with a younger brother. So thank you for that. Um, God is great, and I am reaching for something. I would love to share something with you, if that's okay. Something that hits in the right spot for today's issue. A poem, a book I love. I know I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack to that, but it kind of fits today's world. Um, read you a little bit of that today. Uh, it's called The Fish That Was Thirsty. I don't own the rights to this, but I figured, hey, we all can use some uplifting uh, words, today. The poem is The Fish That Was Thirsty, and it kind of hits, and I'll elaborate my take on it. A fish that was thirsty one night, a baby fish, was sleeping under some coral when God appeared to him in a dream. I want you to go forth with a message to all the other fish in the sea, God said. What should I tell them? The little fish asked. Just tell them you're thirsty, God replied, and see what they do. Without another word, he disappeared. The next morning, the little fish woke up and remembered the dream. What a strange thing God wants me to do, he thought to himself. But as soon as he saw he saw a large tuna swimming by. The little fish piped up, "Excuse me, but I'm thirsty." There we go, in the better angle of the camera. Then you must be a fool, said the tuna. With a disdainful flick of his tail, he swam away. The little fish did feel rather foolish, but he had his orders. The next fish he saw was a grinning shark. Keeping a safe distance, the little fish called out, "Excuse me, sir, but I'm thirsty." "Then you must be crazy," the shark replied. Noticing a rather hungry look in the shark's eye, the little fish swam away rather quickly. All day he met cod, mackerel, and swordfish and groupers, but every time he made his short speech, they turned their backs and would have nothing to do with him. Feeling hopelessly confused with, the little fish sought out the wisest creature in the sea, which happened to be an old blue whale with 3 harpoon scars on his side. "Excuse me, but I'm thirsty," the little fish shouted, with the old wondering if the old whale could even hear him. He was such a tiny speck, but the wise one stopped in his tracks. "You've seen God, haven't you?" he said. "How did you know?" "Because I was thirsty once too," the old whale laughed. The little fish looked very surprised. "Please tell me what this message from God means," he implored. "It means we are looking for him in all the wrong places," the old whale explained. We look high and we look low for God, but somehow He's not there. So we blame Him. We tell ourselves that He must have forgotten us, or else we decide He had left us long ago. If He was ever around. How strange, the little fish said, to miss what is everywhere. Very strange, the old whale agreed. Doesn't it remind you of a fish who says he's thirsty? Today is the day we need to give our issues to God because everything will not be fixed in minutes, if not even hours, days, years. Friends are fighting with each other, parents are fighting with children. We are looking for hope, a quick fix. It's there. We just don't want to see it, that it's there. We give it to God. We center ourselves. We take a deep breath. And, you know, and you say, okay, I'm here. I have to have patience and the reverence to realize maybe not today, tomorrow, the next day. You'll hear my words. You'll hear my prayers. Maybe you'll meet somebody that is wiser than you, can give you some advice to lift your spirits, tell you a joke, read you a story. Maybe this podcast will lift your spirits. I live with my aunt, uncle, and brother. Um, I wasn't born here in Minnesota. I was born and raised in Cali. Um, but I love, learning things, understanding things, and passing knowledge off maybe to help just one person smile. That is my goal. That is, if I can brighten one person today, then I've made it. Then I've done it. Then I have done what I set out to do. I remember for Mother's Day, since Father's Day's just passed, I decided to kind of just get away and decompress. We went out to the nature center here, not far from our home. It was beautiful just to go out on a hike and kind of connect with each other, disconnect from all the noise and things that were here, all the Trump and all the static, so to speak, in our minds, and just connect with us and nature and actually listen to everything speaking around us and ourselves and our minds and our hearts, and just connect. We're walking along the trail because they had a thing, match the parent with the baby or the baby with the parent, and learn facts about it. And I love learning about nature and different animals and different abilities these animals have, and different things. And, I knew quite a lot, but I learned quite a lot. And we were walking along. We stopped to rest under the shade tree and taking pictures. And my aunt was talking and laughing. Her voice carried. It was quiet. We hear a rustling in a bush or along a log. She's like, "Did you hear that?" And I said, "Hear what?" She goes, "Shh, listen." And beside us, and I've never been one for snakes. I love watching them and learning about them, but not being close to them. They make me really nervous because of what a snake can do. Huh. You learn to respect that quiet power, so to speak. So we're standing there, and I remember adjusting my hat. She goes, "Shh, shh, shh." The more she speaks, you hear this low hiss of this smoky gray uh, snake. And he was really, really close to me. He kind of peeks his head up and he has this almost this kind of, if not a brighter yellow stripe on him. And he was worried that he'd been found by us, and I was worried we'd been found by him. And my thought is, wow, we were in this spot by nature, just so close to home, so peaceful, warm, the light as we walked through these trails into the trees, the different colors, the colors of the leaves and the trees. As we walked through the trail, the light changed, the reflection, the sound of the creeks and the river, and what you see on TV and what you feel when you hear the river and the rustling water and the leaves blowing in the breeze and the warmth of the sun on your face and on the back of your neck, and the smell of the air, the fragrance of the bushes and the flowers and the trees just hit different. And it recharges you in a way that you kind of need every now and then to take some time, reset yourself, and recharge your battery. So, whatever it is you're dealing with here, I'm not claiming it. I understand if you're dealing with here and here. Everybody has an issue today. Everybody's going to have an issue yesterday, tomorrow. You want to share it in the comments? You want to hit me back? I'll do my best to talk with you. I'll do my best to listen. Again, my name is Trish. Good afternoon, good morning, good night from wherever you are. I thank you for listening, hearing me out. I want to read you a little something. Um, I'm not trying to get too religious, but if this can help lift people up, have a great morning, provide them with uh, strength and knowing, then great. Here we go. And an account of Leah, his wife Sarah, and his 4 sons being called in the beginning of his eldest Leman, Lemuel, Samuel, Nephi. The Lord warns Lehi concerning their iniquity, seeking to destroy his life. He taketh 3 days' journey, and returneth the land of Jerusalem after the record of the Jews and the account of their sufferings. They taketh the daughters of Ishmael to wife. They take to the wilderness, to the family that depart into the wilderness, their sufferings, their afflictions, and in the brother and the rebel against them, and confoundeth them, and buildeth them a ship in the promised land, and they called them the name of the place of the bountiful. They crossed the large waters into the promised land, and so forth. They, according to the account of Nephi, or other words, I, Nephi, wrote this record. So, this kind of tells you, parents suffer, kids suffer sometimes for parents' actions too. Nephi begins the record of his people. Lehi sees in a vision. So, Nephi begins this record of his people. Lehi sees in a vision a pillar of fire and reads from a book of prophecies. He prophesies that God foretells the coming of the Messiah and prophesies the destruction of Jerusalem. He prosecuted by the Jews about 1600 BC. Nephi, having been born of goodly parents, therefore I was taught somewhat in all the learnings of my father, having seen many afflictions in the course of my days. Nevertheless, I have been brought highly favored the Lord in all my days, ye having had great knowledge of the goodness and the mysteries of God. Therefore, my record of my proceedings in my days. Ye I make the record in the gauge of my father, learning of the Jews and language of the Egyptians, and I know the record in which I make is true. This is when my own hands I make it according to my knowledge, for it came to pass that in the commencement of the first year of the reign of Zegediah, the king of the Judea, my father Lehi and I have dwelt at Jerusalem in all his days, and in that same year there came to pass many prophets prophesying unto the people that they must repent, or the great city of Jerusalem must be destroyed. Wherefore it came to pass that my father Lehi, as went forth and prayed unto the Lord, even with the heart in behalf of his people. It came to pass that he prayed unto the Lord. He came a pillar of fire and dwelt upon the rock before him, and he saw and heard much. And it came to pass that things which he saw and heard, he did quake, and he saw and heard did quake and tremble exceedingly. And it came to pass that he returned to his own house in Jerusalem, and cast himself upon the bed, being overcome with the spirit of things of which he had seen, and it thus overcome with the spirit, and carried away in the vision, even that he saw the heavens open, and he thought he saw God sitting upon his throne, surrounded by numberless and concourses of angels. His attitude of singing and praising their God, one descended out from the midst of heaven, and beheld that his lustre was above that of the sun at noonday. And also the 12 others did following him, and their brightness did exceed that one of the stars and the firmament. And they came down and went. The first one came and stood before my father, gave unto him a book, and bade him that he should read. And come to pass as read was fulfilled with the Spirit of the Lord, and he read of the Lord, and read, saying, Woe, woe unto Jerusalem, for I have seen thine abomination. And many things did pass my father read, concerning things my father read, concern thy, excuse me, thine abominations, and many things did my father read concerning Jerusalem, that it should be destroyed, and inhabitants therefore should perish by the sword, and should be carried away captive into Babylon. And ye came to pass. So far, they're saying, you didn't repent, you should be destroyed. So, and seen many great and it came to pass that many great and marvelous things he did exclaim many things unto the Lord, such such as the great and marvelous are thy works, O Lord Almighty. Thy throne is high into the heavens, and thy power is and goodness, and thy mercy are over all are the inhabitants of thy earth. And because thou art merciful, without suffer those who come unto thee, and who come unto thee that shall perish. And after this manner was the language of my father. In the parish praising of God, for the soul did rejoice, and his whole heart was filled, because of these things which he had seen, the Lord had shown unto him. And I, Nephi, did not make a full account of these things which my father hath written many things, and saw in his vision, which he saw in his visions and dreams, and he had written many things which he had prophesied and spake unto the children, in which I shall not make a full account, but I shall make an account of my proceedings in my days, behold, of my father, upon plates of which I have made it with my own hands, which for after I have abridged the record of my father, then will I make an account of my own life. Therefore I would that ye should know that after the Lord had shown so many marvelous things unto my father Lehi, ye concerning the destruction of Jerusalem, behold, he went forth those people, and begun to prophesy and declare unto them concerning the things which he had both seen and heard. And it came to pass that Jews did mock him because of the things which he had testified of them. The truly testified of their wickedness and their abominations. He testified the things in which he saw, he heard, and also the things of which he read in the book, manifesting plainly of the coming of the Messiah and the redemption of the world, in which Jews and these things were angry with him. And ye even know, even with the prophets of the old, and whom he had cast out, and stoned, and slain, and they also sought his life, and might take it away. And behold, I Nephi will show you unto that of the tender mercies of the Lord, those who hath chosen to be mighty even unto the power of deliverance. With that, it says, when you're faced with people who don't want to believe you, and that goes back to things we're facing now with Trump. People are saying, you elect Trump or anybody like Trump that tries to tell you you can't do this. You're faced with adversity. Don't give up. Listen, keep fighting, keep going through it. Pardon me. Keep going through whatever it is you're going through. Keep pushing through it. Keep going through it. I came across a quote that I learned while in the hospital being diagnosed with diabetes for the first time, and that in itself was a struggle. And I watched the movie Balboa, Love, Sylvester Stallone. He was telling his son Robert, it's not how hard you hit. Life isn't all sunshines and rainbows. People aren't nice, but it's not how hard you hit. It's how hard you get hit and get back up. Life is one step, one fight, one round at a time. And, you keep going every day. And so you just keep going every day that as I'm checking everything, doctors and trying to keep up with my mental health. I hope this reaches whoever it needs to. I hope this can post because I'm trying to figure it out. So it's, like I said, it's one round, one step, one fight at a time. And it's not how hard you get hit. It's not how hard you hit, it's how hard you get hit and continue to get back up every day. Because we all know, with recent events and recent everything, that the world's not a nice place. But I hope to see you again, and I hope you leave comments, and I hope you enjoy this. I'll see you soon. Bye.